So I had sent an email to the park a few weeks ago, and saying we're coming, asking what was going on, and one of the rangers has agreed to sit down with us, tell us some more about the park, and hopefully more about what she does here, and kind of let her take it away here. If you could introduce yourself again.
Yeah, well, my name is Kaitlyn. I'm an interpretive park ranger here at Isle Royale National Park. This is my 4th season at Isle Royale, 5th season within the National Park Service. I'm really happy to be back here for another season. To me, there's just a magic here on the island that calls me back summer after summer, so here I am.
So tell me, I guess, about the seasons. Are you a seasonal?
Yes, so I am a seasonal park ranger in the National Park Service. And so what I've been doing over the last few years is I'll work a summer season at one park and then a winter season at another park. This most recent winter, I was working at Glacier National Park. It was my first winter assignment within the National Park Service. But a lot of park rangers that are working seasonally will do that summer season at one park and a winter season at another park. And if it's not working at another national park in the winter, we just find whatever work comes our way.
Winter at Glacier sounds a little chilly.
Yeah, so, I'm originally from Minnesota.
Okay.
And so I'm used to harsh winters, but I'm used to more of the bitterly cold, not a lot of snow. And at Glacier we got a lot of snow. Wasn't as cold, it averaged like in the 20s and stuff, but it snowed almost every day out there. When I left a few weeks ago, there was still lots of snow there.
We'll be there in end of July, I think. Probably.
That'll be a good time.
Yeah, I think it's gonna be good.
Yes, yeah.
So you just took us on a hour-long, half-mile hike around the nature trail to introduce us to the park. What's your favorite part of Isle Royale?
Oh, my favorite.
I call it a Royale, too.
Yeah, so Isle Royale, Royale.
Royale.
What is the correct pronunciation? Both are correct. Royale is just the more American way of saying it. If we were pronunciating it like the French, it would be Isle Royale.
So we're from St. Louis. We're real French.
But my favorite part about Isle Royale, growing up in Minnesota, I took camping trips to the North Shore of Lake Superior every single summer with my family, and I think just the fact of living here in this isolated environment surrounded by the lake is just really, really special. It brings back a lot of memories of my childhood growing up, and I just think too the wilderness character out here, it's so undeveloped and so peaceful out here. You can't find that in a lot of places in the United States anymore, so that's a big draw to why I come back here year after year.
Away from the jackhammering, right?
Yes, yeah.
So it's Wendigo, right?
Wendigo.
Is Wendigo or the other side better?
So each end of the islands are really different from one another. Wendigo is more inland from Lake Superior. The harbor here, it's about 5 miles or so from the lake, but down in Rock Harbor, you're on the lake. It's more of that exposed shoreline, and so you have different forests down there, different rocky outcrops. Here it's much more vegetated and dense forests. Both ends very different, very unique in their own ways, but I definitely like Wendigo because it's just so peaceful down here. I feel like we don't have as much visitation compared to the Rock Harbor side, but both ends, don't get me wrong, both ends are very peaceful, but yeah.
Do you move back and forth?
No, so I've been stationed in Wendigo each summer I've been here. Yeah.
We were over here because we have a dog.
Ah.
Back home. That's why we could only do the day trip this time. So hopefully we'll be able to come back and spend some time when the kids are ready to camp, I guess.
Yeah, and you know, there are options for people that don't want to do the camping. Here in Wendigo, we have 2 little camper cabins that we crossed on our hike today. They run about like $50 a night or so. It's a nice, just dry space that has a couple bunk beds, futons, accompanied with like a grill and an outhouse. But down in Rock Harbor, you'll get some of those camper cabins as well, but you also have the historic lodge.
Okay.
That's an option for people who don't want to do the backcountry thing.
I think it's a little more than $50 a night, though.
Yes. So I stay here on the island all summer long. So I get here in May. I don't leave until middle of October. For some people, it's just not for them, but I really enjoy the isolation. I like being removed from cell service and all that technology. Just get unplugged for the whole summer. Some people, if they're days off matches with the ferry schedule, they'll go back and either connect with family or do mainland things, go out to eat at a restaurant or something. We don't have that luxury here. But again, your days off have to match up with that ferry schedule. But even so, if they do, you're only on the mainland for about 24 hours until you have to be back on the boat and get back to work. So, and for me, the remaining 6 months out of the year that I'm not here, I'm like, okay, is it time to go back to Isle Royale yet? So once I get here, I just want to stay here.
Is it hard to get work in the winter for the Park Service?
It is really difficult to get work in the wintertime. You know, parks aren't as busy in the wintertime, so there's not the need for as many employees. I would say the most common jobs are probably like what I was doing. I was an education ranger, so I was working primarily with students coming with their classes to the park on field trips. I feel like that's a really common visitation for the parks that do remain open in the wintertime.
Yeah.
I am a National Park Service employee for life. This is my dream job. I feel very fortunate to have landed this job right out of college, and I just found my calling at an early age. I actually got my internship with the Park Service right here in Wendigo. Absolutely fell in love with it. Yep, this is what I want to do. And I left one year. I went to work at Voyageurs National Park in Minnesota, and I just got I got bit by the island bug. I gotta go back to Isle Royale, and here I have been ever since.
No other parks you hope to work
There's
at?
lots of other parks I would hope to work at. At some point, I will have to step away from Isle Royale, but there's a lot of other parks that are high on my bucket list. So my degree is in geography, and I have a minor in GIS, which is Geographic Information Systems. When I was going to school, doing all of that work on a computer, I found out very quickly that I don't want to spend 80% of my time stuck behind a computer screen.
Yeah.
And I like the outdoors, I always have, and again, when I got this internship, just spending so much time outdoors, and even when we're inside the visitor center, a lot of it feels like we're spending time outdoors. I just found my calling.